On behalf of Maharashtra University of Health Sciences, Nashik, I welcome all the dignitaries of the dais, teachers, students, university officers for the inauguration ceremony of workshop on data sciences in healthcare for education, research and public health, and also the MOU signing and exchange ceremony.
Honorable VC Man, Honorable Pro VC Sir, distinguished invited guests and speakers, university officers and staff, the attending deans and faculty members, a very good morning to you all. Today indeed is a special day for MHS because what we call it in Marathi as Triveni Sangam. There's three streams or three rivers, they come, confluence together and then flow further with greater potentials. Today's workshop on data science is one of the relatively newer concept that will be introduced to us by the Harvard team. They have come all the way and that reflects their commitment towards their project. I congratulate them and I welcome them. The second issue, what the Harvard team basically they have developed an independent deployable portal which serves as a curated search engine for health records. And if you all agree, health records is the basis or the foundation of any research. We cannot think of research without proper maintained and retrievable records. And this is the place where they are going to help us. The second organization, that is Omnicuris, is an organization which has, the name is synonymous with world-class digital course contents, development of digital course contents. And for any teaching learning process, this digitalization of course content is a major factor. And we hope that with this MOU, we shall, or the MUG shall increase its the acceptability of the various courses which we are going to run in near future. Third organization, that is CDAC. Their executive director, Dr. Vivek Khanija, is not here, he will come shortly. In fact, MUHS has started working with CDAC much before signing or exchanging this MOU, and they are helping us with development of a comprehensive software which will take care of various functions and various tasks that are carried out in the university. So when all these three factors, that is the digitalized course content, the search engine, which the curated search engine, and the software that the CDAC is developing for us, will definitely speed up the movement in general of MUHS, and in particular for the research and teaching and learning activities, which ultimately will lead to better patient care. I welcome all the three organizations, and I wish all the best for today's deliberations for this workshop on data science. Thank you very much.
Today, as said, Sean Murphy, professor in biomedical informatics and professor of neurology at Harvard Medical School. He is the Chief Research Information Officer at Mass General Brigham. He is present here on the dais. I request Honorable Vice Chancellor Madam to kindly felicitate him on behalf of MU. His research focus on machine learning on health records to assist clinical practice, and is funded by National Institute of Health, is also here. I request Honorable Vice Chancellor Madam to kindly felicitate him.
Perfect. Yeah, yeah. Faculty members who come from Harvard, I'm really happy to have the civil surgeon and the assistant civil surgeon, both of you all, thank you so much for joining in. The deans who have come in, and most important, I think all the faculty is here from MPGI. There are some postgraduates, and I can see some other people who are here from Kati Foundation, and Payal Bansal, who is here from the Chair of Excellence that we've established with Omnicurus. I think this is what the registrar said, it's important that we start looking at scientific way of doing things, and we all as clinicians and people busy with our clinical work realize that collecting data from various or feeding in is there's just no time for that. So if we can find different ways of putting all data which is anyway lying there in different formats and use there to learn these things. And yesterday we had a long discussion that can we have some quality improvement initiatives taken up by different people as to how to use the data which is lying with us. I'm particularly happy that in this workshop we have the Ayush department, we have the pharmaceutical department, we have all even deputy registrars who joined in here, because this is not about just medicine. It is about its utilization in every possible way. So I'm sure listening to them, we will find our gaps and how we can use them and ask them, and then use that as their hand-holding to take this forward. Because just having one workshop with no deliverables that we are going to change and how we're going to use this knowledge is of no use. So I'm also happy that we have a computer, software. Dr. Bise is here, and Abhinandan takes a lot of interest on the digital health. So I would like all of my HOD of the research department, he's also here. So we put in a different faculty, and soon we will be joined by a rep from we have the Nasik Square, which is an amalgamation of Tata Consultancy Services along with MIT. I thought it was Harvard, but it's with MIT. So we are even bringing them in. So can we all work together to find solutions and use this in our daily ways? So this is what we would expect to achieve at the end of this workshop. So with that in mind, I wish you all the best, and let us all put our minds together and get what is in their mind and how we can use that for the betterment of our university and academics here. So thank you very much and all the best. Jai Hind.
His research focuses on machine learning on health records to assist clinical practice and is funded by National Institute of Health. Dr. Vagolikar sir completed MBBS from JJ Hospital, Mumbai, and did PhD in scientific computing from Pune University with a fellowship of ICMR. Dr. Kavishwar sir is the Director of Program in Data Science for Global Health at the Lab of Computer Sciences in Massachusetts Hospital, Boston. He serves as Secretary of the Working Group in Global Health Informatics at the American Informatics Association. He leads the I2B2 Global South Consortium that consists of healthcare institutions in resource settings that intend to use health records for clinical research, hospital operations, and education. I request Assistant Professor Dr. Kavishwar Vagolikar sir to present demo of Cultural Data Search Portal to advance. Hello.
Just want to make sure that everybody online is able to hear me, because we got two different streams of audio. One is from the mic and one is from the computer. So if anyone has difficulty hearing online, just put it on chat and a technical team will take care of it. Okay, let's get started. So once upon a time, long time ago, there was a woodcutter, and a really strong guy, very motivated. And he had a task of cutting, these logs of wood which you see on the left. So you see, on day one, he put some effort and he was able to cut 5 logs of wood. On day two, he put more effort, but was able to just cut 4 logs of wood. And as time went by, the next day he put even more effort, but was able to more effort, but output was less. What do you think is happening? Why was this happening? What's going on? You can speak out. I mean, we want it to be interactive. It's not like
in Sanskrit it is called Arambashur. We put lot of efforts with enthusiasm before the time, and we really put our heart there to achieve the target. But as we get little complacent or more confident, then the law of diminution of return starts, and that's the end result.
so. One suggestion is that his enthusiasm went down. What else?
Might be tools are not working well.
Tools are not working well.
Is not working.
He's going in the right direction. He's getting tired. So actually, what's happening? He's very enthusiastic, and he feels that he has to just work harder. He's taking breaks, but and as he works harder, he's reducing his breaks. He's not taking a break. He's not sharpening his axe. Is that what we are doing in healthcare? We feel proud of the volume. Right? We feel we are got so many surgeries, so many patients, right? But who is sitting and thinking whether what we are doing is right or how it can be improved? Whose job is it? So I want to do a brief survey. So I got my IRB, MGH IRB approved me to do this survey. It's anonymous data that we'll collect. I want to understand, I want all of you to participate. So we can pull out your mobile phones and point it to the QR code so that this will be interactive, because we can't have everybody speaking. But just let me know when you've got it. So if you point your screen at the QR code, you will get a pop-up. And you click on the link, it will open a survey. What's that? Okay, so yeah, it will take a couple of seconds to update from here. Okay, so we have a lot of medical consultants, we have medical residents, 4 of us, administrator staff, other than that's what's expected. So that's great. Move ahead. How many years have you practiced medicine? It's the next question. Maybe a lot of senior people here, people who are responsible to think of where the field is going to go 50 years from now, 100 years from now, 1000 years from now. Next question. Which of the following statements are true? First is, I think it's a multiple choice. So first is that we know all there is to know about understanding and curing disease. Everything is known. Second one is more medical knowledge needs to be discovered. And third one is medical knowledge needs to be revised. Interesting. Are people changing their minds? I feel that. Okay, next question. Okay, so I wish someone had showed me this slide when I was a student. You know, I used to go to the round and used to argue, not argue. In the round, we used to have a discussion about, what is to be done. And as a student, I used to feel, okay, where are these people, where are they talking from? Like the senior resident would have just read Harrison and came, and he's more well read. But what makes, I used to feel like, that guy from Hera Fairy, when he's about to do something, it is kuch golmaal hai. So what makes us think that what's written in the book is correct, right? So how does, So this is the landscape of knowledge. Where does knowledge originate in medicine? And how does it flow? And where are we? Where are we on that landscape? Where are you on the landscape? So first, on the left, as the figure comes up, and I think you can see it on your phone. If it's not here, probably it's showing up on your phone. Yeah. So you have the researcher. Who's the researcher here? So assume that there is someone has a tag called as researcher in this system, and he asks a question, and that's primary research. And then they'll write a paper, primary research paper, then give systematic reviews. Then people will go like a forum like this, and they will talk about it. And what happens? Group of people get together in associations, and they form a set of guidelines. They're not rules, they're guidelines about how to treat this constellation of a presentation, right? And hopefully, as doctors, we need the guidelines because that is like the latest evidence, and those percolate through books. CMEs are really a standard of disseminating the guidelines. The medical representative, I don't know how much it is there right now. As a child, I remember my mom and my dad in the clinic. After seeing the patient, the medical representatives used to come, and that was education for me at least about what's going on and what therapies are available. Okay, and then you have curriculum. You have a formal curriculum, right? And so the question is, where are you? With what kind of position are you? Where are you on that landscape? Assume that when you're a student, you are more, on the right, and hopefully you become aware that there's actually a world on the left. Where is this knowledge coming from? So I think it's the most important question of the survey. So are you, and it's more than one, right? So are you learning from medical representatives? Are you learning in CMEs? Are you reading books on your own even though you don't need to appear for an exam or need to get certified? Do you learn by listening to anecdotes from your colleagues? I saw this patient and this is what I did. That's important, peer education. You share anecdotes. You have to make it a point to share the right things you did and also the wrong things you did and what the lessons you learned. Do you share that? Are you interested in reading research reports? Are you interested in writing research reports? Research report is a paper, what I mean is a paper here. Okay, it looks like learning from members has gone down, perhaps. A lot of people read books. Books are an important source, but probably what comes in the books is like 5-10 years old because it takes time. So as you go from left to right, time has gone by. I remember our teacher O.P. Kapoor, got a chance to attend his classes. He used to be my mom's teacher and even many generations before that. So whenever he used to start, he used to say that, okay, here is a slide from the 1970s. And somebody from the front used to say, I was there and the slide was great. And he said, oh, if you listened to me at that time, you have murdered so many people. Because that's what we thought at that time and our knowledge has changed, right? So it takes time from primary research to go towards the right. Okay. I think that is having a scientific temperament. It looks like most of people agree that if one doesn't have a scientific temperament, it is not ethical. If a clinician does not do research, is it ethical? It's a slightly different question, right? There's a difference between research and quality improvement. There's no right and wrong answer here. This is just helping us think through. In fact, they can be argued it's not ethical to waste time in doing research. Completely fine. Okay. Now here's where I want you to think. So you, in your daily work, are thinking how to improve your state of things. What are the challenges ignore the word research here. So when you're thinking of how to improve the practice, your own practice or your institution practice, what are the challenges that you have? First is that awareness that that medical knowledge is not perfect. Is that a challenge? Improving medical knowledge can improve care. Not knowing that can be a challenge. Lack of role models. You want to do something, but you don't know how. Pressure to earn money. We all go to medical school, and when you're in medical school, our colleagues in engineering already started earning. They got married and have children, you're yet not earning money. And when you're out, you want to recover that money, and especially now, given the high cost of education, you have to get the investment back. So is that a problem? Because you don't have time to think. When you're out, you've lost so many years. And then fear of persecution by peers. People might say, he's doing research because he is not a good clinician, right? That's persecution by peers. Medical seat waste care, because he's doing research and it's not being patient. Lack of courses or certifications, you need some training on that, and need for a mentor. This is valuable stuff coming up. Need for a mentor seems to be, and that's what we're talking of creating over here, a system of mentoring. Moving ahead. So the process is on the left, generating knowledge. You see that's like a research output of the map of the world. You see the concentration is mainly in Europe and US. These are Western textbooks. And the lower part is where the world is. So usually there's a mismatch. And maybe a lot of the books that we are reading are not applicable here. Our epidemiology is different. A lot of things are different. Just being aware that, when I read, when you're reading a medical textbook, why is the Davidson like so big? Why not like, and fourth, I mean, half of it is like cardiology. Is it because the pharma company made a lot of drugs? And what about the other diseases we see here? Where are they in the book, right? Just being aware, like, being aware of the process of how knowledge is being generated. Okay, so this is like the theme of the workshop, right? You have, so health records are the opportunity, they are the axe, they are the opportunity. It's like an instrument which allows you to examine what's going on. And they are the, as rightly pointed out, they are the primary mechanism by which you can introspect, see what the current state is, and then plan, bring an intervention and measure that intervention. Is it bringing a change? Right? And there are three aspects to it. It's practice, policy, and education. Now, these slides were before you, I heard you saying that there are three triads that don't talk to each other. Exactly, they don't talk to each other. And so I think what our workshop today is about, define the low-hanging fruit. What is it that we can do now in this 6 months and 1 year? What is the project that we could do now? It could be in any of this realm. What is that we could do now? What are the challenges and what are the solutions? And who's going to do it? Right? Oftentimes, when COVID was happening, clinicians said, they are not telling us what to do. Who's they? Who's they over here, right? Government might feel it's a doctors will feel it's a government, right? So it's kind of something falling in between. So who is important? I think who is all of us. Okay. So quick clarification. What is electronic health records? As care is happening passively, like data is getting collected. And here we're talking not of collecting, as Madam said, not about collecting data, but already the data which is lying over here, how to utilize that. First thing what comes into play, and we also experienced that when we started the project here, is that we said we don't have data. But in the last month, what we have achieved by doing that, and all of those who participated in Data Hunt yesterday, there is so much of data, right? There is so much of data over here. And the first step is realizing that there is so much of data. And I think that we have realized now. And Dr. Malcolm brought this up yesterday about interoperability and standards. I want to ask you to park that for now. That kind of hijacks our topic. People say, oh, there are no standards, there are all these mistakes, and we'll wait till data is perfectly collected, right? So we don't want to do that. And I'm not getting to retrospective and prospective data. Traditionally, people think research means you have to collect data, follow up people. But here, data is just there, and it is huge. Though it is noisy, it is huge, and how to use that. And so there are 4 aspects, and you could be wearing either of the hats, being in the hospital while being a clinician. All of them depend on the programmer, and that is the challenge that we have here. Right? All of them depend on and that's why CDAC is very important here. Right? CDAC is providing the service. It's a primary mechanism capturing the data. But what happens? All of them can only see one patient at a time. But if we could work with CDAC to kind of make this curated search index, and I demonstrate it. We're not too hands-on, we don't have a lot of time today. If we could provide that service, it will really enable them to ask all these people all these kind of questions, right? While protecting the patient data privacy. And we'll do a quick demo of how that is. And we have Deepali, right? Is she here from CDAC? Is doing Deepali, right? If I got the name right? Yeah. We just wanted to she did amazing work, really went out of her way and amazing work to, put this together. Okay, so what's possible? Policy, operations, patient care, we think, and okay. So at this point, so we are here now, and we know that this data can be used for improving outcomes. We want to go up. We don't know what the path is. It's very tortuous. But we know the first step is to make that curated search index available, right? And we'll discover along the way how to solve them. We won't wait for everything to be charted out. We'll start. And here are the challenges. And you mentioned that lack of awareness and data exists, lack of investment, in IT, and that's where CDAC can really help about making the IT available. And you all mentioned this lack of role models and mentoring. And all of that is because we don't know, the ecosystem here doesn't know what is the value. If there is value that can be had, then all this will automatically get solved. So our goal over here is to immediately do some value some projects which demonstrate value, and all these things will automatically get sorted because of the value. Okay, next interaction. Can you pick up the phone again and do QR code? I am doing this doing different ways because this time I want your name. It's not anonymous. And I want you to think of one question that you can ask. If you had this system available in your hospital right now, what is that question you would want to ask? It could be anything. It could be how many people have sickle cell anemia, right? It could be what is the distribution like. Just think whatever question comes to your mind, which you always wanted to ask but were afraid to ask, or had no way of asking. Follow Guru series, listen and apply. It is fine. But then questions come up. If things can be done differently, if you are not able to do it, it brings about helplessness. Right? So here is the way out of it. I think the next question is, after you fill in that, and we'll be kind of reviewing this later offline, but I want all of you to put your name and the question that you have in mind. It's really important for us to see what you're thinking. You know, of all those patients, you will be able to ask and analyze and come up with the answer yourself. So think of that patient set in your question. Give you a minute for that. And then the last question is the quality improvement. Your first question may not be about quality improvement. What is that one thing you think can be done in your work area or in your place of work, which you think can improve quality, can improve the outcomes of the patients? Some version of it, maybe with CDAC's help, hopefully. It will look something like this. So apart from the CDAC EHR system, just imagine this is a CDAC, there's a link in CDAC system, and as a clinician you're able to log in. I need to put a password correctly. So you have your own username and password, probably the CDAC login. And when you log in, you see all this list of medical terms on the left. Any word you can think of in the world is there in that. Most of them are there in that, on the left side. A couple of seconds to go. It will take a lot of time. If you ask a question, even in our hospital, if you ask an IT person, it will take a lot of time. So, 3 months, 4 months, 6 months, because they are busy and they don't understand what you say. So here you could ask a question that, whatever question you had, now for example, I'll make up the question I had. I want to know how many people had heart failure, because I work in the cardiology space. So how many people have, and you can see my screen, how many people have, so I'm going to diagnosis and circulatory system, and let's say quickly heart failure. I will try circulatory system, okay, heart, okay, hypertensive disease. How many people have hypertension in my hospital? Ever had hypertension in the hospital? This is demo data, so we'll give you a small number, maybe 50 patients, but in your hospital it might be 4 million or 40 million. And you got an answer, and you can ask, okay, how many of them are males? So you can go demographic. So you can now qualify the question, and by doing permutations and combinations, you can get a number back. All you get back is a number. You can't see that patient's data. So the patient data is protected, but you are able to now generate insight without waiting for anybody. So this is Sean Murphy's creation, right? So when Sean did it, it really changed the way research happened back at MGH, and later on, I'm just going to ask Sean to hold for a little bit. I want to talk about how it changed the ethos of the hospital, how it changed how research happens across the country. The NIH made this available, and this open source product, 60-70 million went to developing it. and it is adopted at a whole lot of academic centers. And I have heads the foundation for doing this around for 18 years or more. And okay, so this is what we are proposing doing here, all open source and your own data accessible only to yourself. Now it is also possible to connect if you can collaborate with some other hospital. Let's imagine government hospitals connected together, so that when you run this query, you get a number not only from your hospital but also from others in your network. Right? So for example, we got this ACT network in the US, 80 institutions. You run a query, you get an answer from every other institution. But the use of the system in the US and Europe has mainly been for clinical trials. Before you do a trial, you want to find out, or before you do epidemiological study, you want to find out whether you have the patients. But I think, and because public health happens in a different way over there, there's a lot of investment and a lot of infrastructure over there, but here we don't have it. So epidemiology, and here it has got a different life. I think quality improvement is going to be, but there's a lot of work needed on the product also itself, and that's what we need to do. Okay, I want to stop here, and this is like how it would look like, if you are connecting multiple institutions together. That capability is there, but by default, when you have this system in your place, it's only your people, only within the staff. The data is not going anywhere in the cloud. It is your server inside. And if it's CDAC, it will be just that instance of CDAC for your, for your hospital. No one else can. And only if you get into an agreement with something else and you form a consortium, you can. So we had a consortium for COVID. 400 hospitals over the world. They were not exactly using I2B2, not connecting physically, but that was what enabled them. Because they had I2B2, they were able to work together. And Sean will elaborate on that. I think I'll stop here, but I want to stop with this slide. Okay. There's a lot of confusion about data formats. Okay. So what do you need to make data available, in this? And I think in general, you need to know 4 things, right? 4 things: who, when, and what. Unfortunately, there's been a lot of thing about people have made simple things complicated, and that kind of excludes majority of people. They feel this is something, data science is something very difficult. I don't understand. But this is what data science is. 4 things: who, when, and what. If you have your data, and if you record your data like this or transform your data like this, and the Excel file might be to shared, it's pretty much along these lines, right? Yes, correct. So who, when, and what, and you're kind of explaining that what. So first row is medical record, patient with medical record number 1 has a GLU of 160 on 1st Jan 2010, and you're explaining that the data dictionary is what we call as a concept file. The GLU is nothing but a blood, it's a lab done on the blood glucose is an integer, right? If you prepare your data like this, you'll be able to upload it. Let me stop here. I'm definitely gone over time, but want to hand it over to the next person on the agenda. I think we had identified a few. Abhinandan, you will be talking next, right? Yeah. So Abhinandan had idea of, had the motivation for, he thought surgical outcome. Do take over. I just hand over to you. So we wanted to have a low-hanging fruit. What is that we can go after? So I wanted to talk about his project, the surgical outcomes, and then we would, we will obviously be meeting after this. Go ahead.
Good morning to everyone here. Good morning to VC ma'am. Good morning to Dean sir, Registrar sir, and dignitaries from CDAC, Omnibus, MPJ, and various colleges from Maharashtra. So now, after the very interesting topic and very interesting speech by Dr. Kavi, I'm going to talk about the hardware implementation at civil hospital. Basically, hardware is always a boring topic as compared to softwares, because softwares give you the beautiful, colorful interface, and the hardware are the ones working behind it, and they're the same with all the softwares. So let us from civil surgeon sir, Farad sir, and additional civil surgeon sir, Dr. Reddy sir, we were able to expedite the implementation of the software Issushruth, a web-based software from CDAC at our civil hospital. We are presently moving at snail's pace because the changes have to be made in an existing infrastructure. Had it been a new, it would have been much faster and much easier. And again, with the MOU and signed between civil surgeon, civil hospital and MHS, many changes are happening in civil hospital. So the present department, the present wards, the present OPD structure is going to change. So that had also to be taken into planning of land tables. Then there will be activation of software users, the software, and then the training to the ones who are going to use the software. So presently at phase 1, 14 land points have been completed by mid-Jan 2023. First floor is a work in progress, second floor is still in progress, and third floor. So we are expecting everything to be planned and completed by 15th of March 2023. Same with installation of machines. Machines have been installed at the OPD levels. Training was given on the 1st of February 2023. We are now using it at OPD level. Still, there is a bit of reluctance and acceptance and the hurdles that are there for any new thing that comes in. But still, we are trying to overcome. And for the first and second and third floor, because there are going to be changes in the wards and basic infrastructure, so it is moving at a slow pace. But still, we are planning it by March, 15 March 2023. Same with software users, we are going to have somewhere around 100 plus software users. So the training is going on. Dipali, as you said, is working very hard. First we gave the training on voice conference, online training. Then we are training almost 5-6 people every day. Because it's a big software and people are not used to it. First thing is people think that it's easier to write than over a period of time things will improve obviously. Like WhatsApp used to be like, we used to take a lot of time to type, but like today it's before we give a receive report, our next message has been sent. So this is a very small presentation from my side of implementation of software. Yeah, and like sir said, without data.
Ask a few questions.
Yes,
I mean, while you are doing this, it's excellent. I mean, I really compliment civil surgeons that you are facilitating. But identify solutions because you are not in a system which is well established running. So can we find new ways of getting in that data, capturing it, putting it into it? It's okay to have the land which is well, you have to have all that. But have we thought of novel ways? And for that, I've actually requested is Sandeep here?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, so I think this is where I'd like to introduce Sandeep from the, what is it called?
Digital
Nasik Square.
Impact Square.
Huh?
Digital Impact Square.
Yeah, can you come up front? So he's from the Digital Impact Square, which is functioning in Nasik as a collaboration between MIT and TCS, Tata Consultancy and MIT. They're working where they have youngsters finding innovative ways of finding solutions. So along the way, and this being a workshop, I think we need to identify what our problems points are. It's okay to say this is how it's done and you have to do it like that. But like you said, this is coming from a country which has it all there. So do we have to go the same path or can we find innovative ways of capturing that? And I'd like to hear you on that. So please take it. Yeah.
Which has been shared with all the residents, and
Excellent.
they are filling up the data. So we have data since December.
Oh,
Of all the patients, including the blood investigations, which I actually had a word with Kavi sir also, because that was thing that was within my perimeter to do.
And I really compliment you because in the last 2 months with Kavi and you all having I wasn't even aware of so much progress. That's why I said that, the civil surgeons and the dean facilitating this kind of a collaborative. We've already overcome the first issue which is there, and I'm sure there are deans here, there are deans online. Our problems start from there. But can we have a test bed at civil hospital where we use people like experts from the IT who handhold and we give a way forward so that we can kind of have a disruptive or a frog leap into the thing, to the analysis, and not waste all the time in capturing that data. Can we have innovative ways? So I'd like to sort of, you all can have an open thing, people can question, I thought how can we take this? I mean, we're not asking for solutions, but where are the ways as step one? Can we have a QI in that itself? That an initiative, a project, that's where TCS, the Data Square and MUHS, the Civil Hospital, get into a thing where we have people giving innovative ways of doing this.
So
First of all, thank you, ma'am, for inviting, and really pleased to see such a diverse set of audience here. And important thing is, all believe in how do we really change the world using the data or science, right? So I'm Sandeep. I'm part of Digital Impact Square, which is the TCS Foundation initiative. Just to give a quick background about why we are in Nashik. So Nashik is an amazing city, uh, culturally and historically also. We all come together to celebrate Kumbh Mela, and we host the millions of people in Nashik. So last Kumbh Mela, which happened in 2015, we leveraged Nashik. I'm also from Nashik, so a lot of us came together along with MIT Media Lab. This is Professor Ramesh Raskar from MIT Media Lab. So all of us came together to explore how do we really solve some of the complex problems in the ecosystem through technology innovations. And it is way back in 2014 we started this initiative with the name of Kumbhathon. So how can we really leverage Kumbh of, the Kumbh Mela as a Kumbh of innovation and really do something. And it was really amazing to see that how local administration, local not-for-profit organization, education institutes, and these global experts came together, and we as a Nasikites. So I've been in Tata Group and in TCS from almost now 16 years. But this was more about passion, doing something for my city. And we came up and curated this program, and where more than 1,000 students in and around Nashik participated and created an innovations which actually deployed in Kumbh Mela. And just to name few, where they were able to kind of help police administration to manage the crowd better using cell phone tower data. They actually connected to the cell phone towers, leverage the data to predict the density of crowd and really help to manage it. There are school students who actually developed a foot mat where people were walking over it and then getting counted and used to manage the crowd. The symptom data was tracked. There are almost 250 temporary clinics actually installed during Kumbh Mela. And again, students from Nashik actually captured those symptoms and started predicting potential outbreak, and they started predicting eye conjunctivity, these kind of. And then local administration, the municipal corporation was supposed to manage the healthcare. They started taking actions on that, whether it is about what are curating actions can be taken or preventing actions. So I think data plays an important role, and I think I also heard you, how do we simplify things, right? That's where we also realize that even the complicated or complex problem can be simplified and solved. But how do we really do that? And from there we started. But it was more voluntary effort, entire community came together, and Nashik became a sandbox to try out all these experiments and various aspects. And what really happened is, beyond that, then we thought is, can we really take it into a sustainable model, not more on voluntary, everybody's coming. So TCS Foundation came forward and set up a social innovation center here. And it's like a pre-incubator, and what we do is, we curate a set of challenges with the partners. So this was set up again in partnership with local administration, state, and as well as scientists across, the MIT, they keep coming here. The way, and I think I'll just quickly get to the point what Madam said, is about the process and approach we take generally, right? So even we take a complex problems. So example, I'll just give one example maybe. In autism. So autism, how do we really do an intervention with the autism space? So we took this challenge along with again the local administration, and then we have Enable India as one of the partner. We have there a not-for-profit. They focus on the disability space. So we said, how do we really solve the problems for autism? And we curate a challenge and we launch an online platform for digital impact sphere, where innovators across India apply to solve. So mostly these are the students who are about to graduate or graduated recently, and it's a curated program for them. So first couple of months it's just an immersion, and I agree with you. It starts with maybe secondary research, understanding what does autism means and everything. And these are, believe me, these are the may not be doctors also, engineers, design innovators coming across India and participating. But what is interesting is this immersion program. When they spend time on field, talking to the community, understanding what does the problem means, and they start simplifying these things. So here, first 3 months, this team spent time on talking to the, let's say, a practitioner, parents who are going through it, observing kids who are going through this, uh, going through various schools which are actually helping them to uplift their life. And what we realize is, especially autism, if you are able to help detect as early as before a 6 year of age, then intervention can actually really play an important role in the journey. And today, our school, the way setup is there, our teacher are not trained to actually identify this, right? And the way it happens, it's quite late in the journey, maybe 7 years onwards. And that time, definitely there are interventions are there. And this team said, we would like to focus. Can we help? So that's where, from this immersion, they redefined that problem. What can we do in the autism? So how do we really help school teachers to early detecting the autism? So that was a broad challenge statement. So they said, how should we go about doing it? That's another step in the journey of digital impacts processes. When you identify that, again you co-create various ideas with your ecosystem partners. And when they co-created, they felt is the way today, the way they've used couple of, again, games as well as data science to start not naming that these are the autism or not autism, because that will be too early to detect and say. They said these are the people who are playing differently. They started classifying this, and then what happened, the school administration started connecting them to the expert, and then expert qualified these are the autism or not, right? So it helped them to, that was a job they have done. So simplified, right, for screening for schools, and they are still doing pilots and everything. This is just an example, but this journey is almost 12 to 18 months. But within 6 months, we try to identify right opportunity. We actually help them to identify right way of solving. Then they do design certain experiments to validate that, and at the end of the 6 months, they have right opportunity identified, validated with the ecosystem. They may have a way of solving that problem. Those are also minimum viable prototypes are created, experimented with the community, and within the 6 months, they believe that this is the right way. And then there are set of experts which comes and validate, and they help them to move forward. We don't stop here. Our research doesn't stop here. But we really help them to convert that minimum viable prototype into a product and launch their social enterprise. So 18 of such a social enterprises in various domains have been launched in last 7 years in Nashik. And they have actually created impact of more than 6 million lives. And that's what beauty of all. But this is, again, it is not we as a digital impacts we are alone doing. It's an ecosystem and sandbox of Nashik actually helping us to arrive. So these are the.
I want to propose one thing. When you take the data from hospitals like outside, you may have challenges figuring out the process. Right? But here we've collected a lot of what people want to work on. And what we really lack right now is people on the ground on the IT part, which you have the expertise, right? So can we think of some projects where your team comes in and enables, like we've got this whole list of questions now, right? And really how to make a platform, not do one thing at a time, leveraging I2P2 and other things, right? So can you, that's the gap. The hospital really depends on you and CDAC for the IT expertise.
So definitely I think that, but I would also add, right, don't look at digital impacts only from the IT perspective, but we would also like to play a role on really understanding those opportunities.
So that is why I said all the other things aside, the biggest challenge today is how do we get the clinicians and the innovative ways of getting your basic data. We put, like CDAC has come and put an HIMS there. There is, okay, there are problems on, putting that data in or feeding, that's the thing. But can they be innovative? I mean, can there be solutions which are digital visitings while the patients, doctors write, or like this foot map? People coming in and that's already capturing this. So can we do such kind of problems where hospitals are, this becomes a model which can be replicated across the country. So whether, that is where I have requested you to come in and civil hospital to get that as a challenge. That today our electronic health record systems are not this because of these gaps? Can we find innovative ways of overcoming that to capture data?
Absolutely, ma'am.
That is the challenge that I pose to you, and I'd like you to come formally on board how to go about it. The dean is here, the people who are helping us, CDAC get that going. The civil surgeon is here, so we would like to have that, if you all are willing to, we'd like you to come forward and take this forward.
Absolutely, ma'am.
Thank
Happy
you
to,
so
happy to do
Just
that.
my 2 cents, just I wanted to add from CDAC perspective. What you are saying is actually a real problem on the ground. One is that the data is either not captured or the data is skewed, as you mentioned. It's a huge challenge because data missing is one part, but data skewing is an even bigger problem because you will make wrong inferences on top of that. So, and this really is a problem because especially what we have seen in the last 20 years of implementation of HMIS in various hospitals all across this country, the doctors, especially in the government hospitals, are hard pressed for time. I mean, they have to see almost 100 patients in less than 2 hours. And so they are today not really willing to have multiple clicks to really enter the data to create an EHR. His job today is to see the patient. He's not really interested in the EHR for predictive or prescriptive analysis that you may do on that data tomorrow. So in the HMIS implementation, we have tried to minimize this pain by having minimum click paths. We have tried to minimize the pain by having pre-filled data.
We noticed that yesterday.
Yes, and I mean all this is coming because of various inputs that we have got from clinicians over a period of time. We have also tried, as when you said, that innovative ways of capturing this data. We have tried this out with a lot of various gadgets. For example, there are these smart tabs where you just write in and it creates a prescription, e-prescription, which can directly go into this thing. Lab prototypes, POCs are fine. Problem is scaling it on the ground. Because once you go into a civil hospital, I mean, you will have breakages, replacements will not come, and those practical problems we have faced. Another thing that we did with Professor Kundu at Ram Manohar Lohiya Hospital in Delhi was to give him a voice-based e-prescription generator. It's an Android app that we loaded it on his phone. We said, okay, you go ahead and you start to speak. This is my prescription, RX, this thing, the patient came with this. And we were converting that into an ICD-10 or SNOMED CT format, and it would directly go into the database. Again, lab prototype works very fine. The moment you go into the hospital, you have 25 patients.
So this is exactly why I brought in, where we don't want only IT, we want society. I mean, from every kind of input, this is the biggest gap.
Absolutely.
So can we have out-of-the-box thought processes on that with young minds? That is why I brought them in. I mean, you all are there, they are there, and the what you said, the civil surgeon is here, the dean is here, but there are piles of patients. Can we think of solutions? This is a challenge that I would like us to take it up collectively.
Yeah, we would definitely love to work with the Nasik hospital, because now, based on the trial that we have done at Nasik and Alibag, we are now rolling it out in the entire state of Maharashtra.
Yeah.
You probably are aware of that. Just adding to what you said on the autism, ma'am, I have a separate group, not the HMIS group, but a group that works in the area of speech and natural language processing and also artificial intelligence and machine learning. We have done a project with NIPIT on autism detection, and this is actually able to assess the level of autism and is going to give you an indicative score. And this is based on questionnaire. This is also based on audio and visual clues analysis, because a lot of times by observing the child and analyzing the facial expressions, analyzing the audio clue, you can actually do a fairly good assessment. So that we have already done. This was a funded project by our ministry. The first phase we have just finished. We have released the app. And I think you already know about the activity that you were doing with CDAC Bangalore on the mental health. Manas has come out really well.
Yeah.
So we are definitely doing our bit, but I think it needs a more collaborative approach.
COVID was a success because we had all of governance, all of society.
Absolutely.
find a solution.